Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing J.O.E, or J.O.E to be exact actually. Now, I need to tell you a few things about today's puzzle. So this is actually my second attempt at this puzzle. And my first attempt was going all the way back to April 29th, where essentially I spent 46 minutes trying to break into the puzzle, not succeeding, and giving up. So this may well be the first failure video that I'm posting on the channel, and I'm going to have to rely on you guys to actually help me solve it. And I'm pretty sure that between all of us we are going to be able to solve it. If none of you can solve it individually, what we're going to do maybe is try a live session, and then we can have a few of us trying to actually solve it together. Now, just a little bit of context about this puzzle. A few weeks prior to April 29th, we actually played a successor of this puzzle, which is J.O.E, the prequel, from the same constructor, JayForty, with the same sort of variant rule sets. And it had a 95% rating, and you guys loved it. So I thought, naturally, I should go and follow up. And actually, just before I continue further, I'll make sure that I link a card up here so that you go and check out that video. That will be a quick refresher of it. So what I wanted to do was basically go back and visit the original, which is a 4-star difficulty rated puzzle with a 97% rating. So I think genuinely the highest rated puzzle ever featured on this channel. Only thing left to say is, if you actually see J.O.E and just maybe refresh your memory of what the thumbnail looked like, J.O.E had a really cute, very modern looking robot. And since we're sort of going into the past and looking at admittedly J.O.E was a prequel, and Joe, I guess, would have come after J.O.E. Yeah, you can tell I'm not going to be good with time paradoxes. But anyhow, since J.O.E was modern, Joe is looking a little bit rusty, a little bit worse for wear, very steampunk. Let's go with that. And yeah, you've got Sleuth on the exhibit floor here, admiring this work about Joe and the robot that was constructed here. Anyhow, enough of an introduction, and I hope I haven't intimidated any of you away. What I'm going to do when I get into this puzzle, I'll explain the rule sets very quickly. Then what I'm going to do is give this one more attempt. I'm going to try something new here, something I've not really tried before. And admittedly, I haven't practiced, so this could be, doomed to fail from the start with this attempt. Let's just crack on and take a look at Joe from JayForty. So, normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Nothing unusual now. Now, here is the next bit that is unique to the Joe series. There's only 2 of them, but we'll call it a series. No digit can appear more than once on each of the clue types. So the idea is that if you put a 1 on this cell, which is essentially 1 on the gold line and the purple line, I can't put a 1 anywhere else on this puzzle. Or, well, at least on these lines. None. And that uniqueness is basically the key to it, and that's how we solved the prequel. Right, the lesser than the various you're going to recognize. So digits along a pink line form a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order. If that's a 1, clearly this is going to be 2, 3. That's one example, for example, of a Remban. If this wasn't a 1 and this is a 4, 2, 3 would work, as would 3, 5. What I couldn't do is have something like 2, 5. They're no longer consecutive sets on this Remban. And what I couldn't do is have a repeated digit. That is not appropriate either. So it's a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order. Now, digits on a tan/gold line cannot repeat, and no 2 digits are consecutive. So I've already broken it with my example, as I've broken the Remban. The 4 and 3 are consecutive, and they cannot be on this Nabner line, or tan/gold line. So the 4 can't have a 3, 4, or 5 next to it. All of that doesn't work on a Nabner, but I could have basically any other digit. That would be fine. Okay, what else do we have? the sum of the digits along a blue line must be the same within each 3 by 3 box the blue line passes through. Interesting. I really should read the rules more carefully. I really should read the rules more carefully. No, I'm not sure. Sorry. So this is standard region sum line. And essentially, the normal region sum line would say if this is an 8, these two cells would have to add up to an 8. Essentially, that each section of the region sum line must be the same. And if that's an 8, this could be 1, 7, for example, and that would be a valid setup. What I'm kind of wondering is it saying, and I'm genuinely wondering about this, that each of these now need to sum up to 8. The sum of the digits along a blue line must be the same within each 3 by 3 box the blue line passes through. And that may be the clue to why I wasn't able to break into this puzzle. I don't know. I think we're going to see if it can be. I'm not sure if even it can be. I'm pretty sure I went down that route. You know, it's been a couple of months since I've that attempt, but I'm pretty sure I tried this, and I couldn't even come up with the digits that actually fit this. Then we have black dots. So if this is 2, any cell separated by a black dot contain digits in a 2-to-1 ratio. So this would be 2 with a 1 or 4. Essentially, one cell is double the other. And white dots are consecutive. If that's a 2, this will be 1 or 3. No mention of negative constraints. I'm going to assume it doesn't. It's not a problem. And therefore, 2 and 3 are consecutive without a white dot. 4 and 2 are clearly 2-to-1 ratio without a black dot. And all of that, in my opinion, is going to be allowed. So, biggest challenge we've faced yet. And if you're up for it, link will be in the description down below for you to play along. And with that said, let me restart the clock and see how I get on. Right, so some quick things, like housekeeping, before we go back to that region sum line and just see what's going on. You will notice that there are 3 cells that are pink here, 3 cells that are pink there, 3 cells that are pink here. And because of this unique constraint that no digit can appear more than once on each of the clue types, we actually know that these rem bands are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we very specifically know that they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. Because essentially I have 3 sets that are consecutive. If I mix and match between these groups, I will fail. Because remember, I cannot repeat digits. Now, you can combine this with the Nabner line, which is, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we actually have the digits 1 to 9 once each on the Nabner. And you can immediately see, for example, that the corners have to be the outside digits from the set. Otherwise, they're going to be consecutive. So essentially, what I have in here is kind of like a 1-3 pair with a 2, or a 4-6 pair with a 5, or a 7-9 pair with an 8. And what I will end up with, which is kind of interesting, is in the Nabner column. So let's just make this assumption. This is 1, 3, this is 2. Well, I now know that this is clearly not going to be 1, 2, or 3 in this cell. It's going to be from 5 or 8, because 4, 6, and 7, 9 are going to be elsewhere. Let's just continue with this example for a second. So this cell would have to be 5 or 8, and this cell would have to be not 5, would have to be 2 or 8, etc., etc. And then this 7, 9 would be an 8 in here, so this would be 2 or 5. So you end up with a triplet as such. Okay. Now, 3 more things actually, just for completeness. Black Kropke dots, because we cannot have repeats. So essentially, one of them is going to be 1, 2, one of them is going to be 3, 6, and one of them is 4, 8. I can't do something like 2, 4 in the middle, because then I will end up with a pair that I cannot complete. Now, we can do something with the white Kropke dots. Can I? Yeah, well, they weren't very useful in my previous attempt either. Essentially, the fact that these cannot have repeats, and you know that a white crop key dot for it to be consecutive has to be made up of an even digit and an odd digit. You're not going to have two of the same parity that can be consecutive. And we've got 3 pairs, so basically we use most, again, but not all of the even digits. So we don't actually know that much about the white crop key dots at this point. Last but not least, and this is where I'm probably going to start, after I pencil mark these Nabner and Remband lines, is the region sum lines, and they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells. So there are 9 digits, 1 to 9. I have 8 cells. I am missing 1 digit. And the way to think about this is any one of these region sum lines has to be an even digit, because whatever this is, let's say it's x, 8. This will be another 8, that would be 16. Even if I have 7, that would be another 7, that would be 14. So I'm always going to end up with a total on the region sum lines that's an even digit. And therefore the missing digit on these lines has to be an odd digit. Right, let's see if I can actually make this work now with the assumption, because again, the rules are not that clear, that the sum of the digits along a blue line must be the same within each 3x3 box the blue line passes through. You know, I'm taking sort of emphasis on the word the blue line, not a blue line. Just that article seems to twist the meaning quite a bit to me. So can I actually make them all the same sum? Really interesting question. And I think immediately that would mean, let me think about, how am I thinking about this? So I'm missing 1 digit, 1 odd digit. So the sums are either going to be 44 with a missing 1, missing 3, missing 5, missing 7, missing 9. And this would be 42, this would be 40, just 40. What am I doing wrong here? 3 would be 42. Yeah, that's 40. That is 38, and this is 36. Now, I just kind of get the feeling, though, that this has to be 8 or 9, given there is a 3 cell potentially down here that has to sum to it. So I'm making the assumption that this cell is the same here, is the same here, is the same here in terms of region sums. So if it is 7, I think I'm in trouble, because essentially that would be 1, 2, 4. That would be 7. And these 2 cells are apparently going to add up to 7 without using 1, 6, 2, 5, or 3, 4. So 7 definitely doesn't work. And I think we can easily prove that 6 doesn't work. You know, that would be 1, 2, 3, and then I don't have any 2 digits that will add up to 6 without the 1 and 2. 5 and other numbers, just ignore them. I think this is going to be obviously higher. 8 or 9. So let's just think about, I think with 9, even though technically I could have 2, 3, 4 in here, because I have a pair, and I've essentially used a lot of the pairs. Essentially, I would have 1/8 left to get to 9, but then not 2, 7, not 3, 6, and not 4, 5. So I think whether this is 8 or 9, this has to have a 1 on it. So I'm pretty sure the 44 and the 1 are out. Now, let's just imagine it is an 8. I think we can rule out the 8 fairly quickly. If it is an 8, one option is 1, 2, 5, which would leave me without enough digits to get to 2 pairs that get to 8. Yeah, that's going to be true regardless. Because essentially, 1, 7 is gone, 2, 6 is gone, and actually 3, 5 is gone. So 1, 2, 5 is disastrous. 1, 3, 4 might be better, but the only 2 digits I have left are 2, 6. And then 1, 7 is gone, 2, 6 is gone, 3, 5 is gone. So I think if they are indeed the same, this is absolutely a 9. And therefore 9, 9, 9, and 9 would make this 36. And therefore I'd have to be missing a 9. Yeah, so I've definitely gone down this route before. This all looks very familiar. I can't make all of them add up to 9, because then the sum would be 9 times 4, which is 36, And then I'd have a missing digit to get to 45 because they're all unique digits. It would have to be a 9. Still half tempted to try and make this work though. So let's assume for a second just 126. Would this even come close? I think the answer is going to be no. Can't do 18, 27, 36. It can only be 4, 5. Yeah, so that's nonsense. 135 is the next option. Pretty sure it's going to be the same challenge. I have the 2 available and nothing else. The 4, 5 is gone, the 3, 6 is gone, the 1, 8 is gone. Yeah. And lastly, the 2, 3, 4, I think I've already discussed. Same issue. So, this is a standard region sum line. Right, back onto this unique approach that I was describing earlier. These cells, pardon me, let me just put this up again. 1, 3 with a 2, 4, 6 with a 5, and 7, 9 with an 8. Which means that these cells are all from 2, 5, 8. We can pencil mark that safely. We know that these cells are from 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. Yeah, I'm not going to pencil mark this. I may leave this reference up for a second, I don't know. So where I wanted to go with all of this is start to think about, so having done this for previously 45 minutes, I'm only like 9 minutes in. So imagine I've done this for, how long is the actual video? Because I had an intro previously. 16 minutes. So essentially for another half an hour, I plugged in random numbers trying to basically see where it breaks. And stunningly, like you could get really far with this puzzle and then like this white Kropki dot will fail, or this white Kropki dot will fail, or this black Kropki dot will fail. So it is incredibly difficult to appreciate the interactions between these puzzles. Now, one of the obsessions that I started having was box 8. Because C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know, remember that all of these digits are unique. I know that these 2 are going to be unique, but they could be repeating on here, by the way. Particularly this, so this digit is definitely different from these 2, is definitely different from these 2. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unique digits already on here. Potentially a 7th, but not necessarily. So, see, I'm already getting tempted to do something else than what I had planned. What I was trying to show is where is the pressure? What I wanted to show is where is visually the pressure is in this puzzle. By coloring, to sort of show where it has tons of interactions and focus on these cells. Yeah, I'm gonna get sucked into this again, aren't I? So I remember obsessing over this black Kropki dot pair quite a bit, realizing that 1 and 2 in here makes this extremely difficult. Like extremely difficult. Because then this would be a minimum of 3, 4, 5. And yeah, once you have 3, 4, 5, I remember this doesn't work because that gets to 12 and 2 cells that get to 12, 3, 9 is gone, 4, 8 is gone, and 5, 7 is gone. So you can't actually complete this. But I also remember that this doesn't have to be, I'm pretty sure I came up with an example where it did work. So this is 13. And you see 13 doesn't work either. Essentially 4, 9 is not available, 6, 7 is not available, 5, 8 is, but then that would force this to be a 2 and a 2 again, and it breaks. So the 1, 2 was very restrictive once you placed it in here. 3, 4, 7, this is 14 now. So this is either 6, 8 or 5, 9. What does 6, 8 do? No 8s, and this would have to be the 5, this would have to be the 2. And, here is where things just just really go off piece. You know, you've got 5, 2, this is a 1, 3 pair, that is not the 3, that's the 1, that's the 3, that's a 1, that's a 2. And you can get like really, really far. This can't be a 2 anymore because it's already been placed, so that's 8, that's 5, this is 4, 6. That neither of these are 5, and then here it breaks because it's not 2, it's not 8, that would have to be a 5, which it can't repeat. So loads of very distant interactions that I'm just struggling to see. 3, 4, 8 was not working. I'm pretty sure I can disprove 3, 4, 9 reasonably quickly. That means that it's adding up to 16, which would require 7, 9, and that doesn't work. No. Did I skip a digit? I think I did. That's now 15. Yeah. 15 in 2 cells, 7, 8 is not allowed. This would have to be 6, 9. This is not 8 or 2, so that would be 5. That is not 5. So this could be 1, 3 or 7, 9. That's not a 2. Sorry, what did I mean to do that? That wasn't... That was 2, 5 or 8, and it's not a 2, and it's not an 8, it's a 5. That's not a 5. That is not a 5 or a 2, that's an 8. Therefore, that's a 2, that's not a 2 or an 8, that's a 5, that's 4, 6, which gives me a 9, 6. Sorry, all of this is probably just helping me just become familiar with it again. That becomes a 2, this is 1, 3, not a 3. I've placed everything except the 8. This is now 7, 9. Not an 8 here. I need 6 and 9, which can only be now in here. And then this cell has to be a 7. That gives me a 7. That gives me a 9. 4, 6 pair, 1, 3 pair, not resolved. Not sure why I'm getting my hopes up. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work. So of the odd digits, I've placed the 3 and the 9. So the missing odd digit is either 1, 5, or 7. Now, without an 8 and 9, I mean, this is at least a 5. No, it could be at least a 4, but I've already placed 4. And it can't be 3, I've already placed it. So this is at least 5. And it wouldn't be 1, 4, or 2, 3. 5 doesn't work. 7 could. But it's not 3, 4, it's not 1, 6. It would have to be 2, 5, and then essentially I'm missing a 1. 2 gives me 5, gives me 2. 2 and 8 are looking at this cell. This has to be then 3, 6, because it's not 4, 8, it's not 1, 2. That's 6, that's 3. That's a 1, 2 pair, that's a 4, 8 pair, and then it breaks. Anyhow, you get my drift around. You can come up with examples that work for so long and then just break unexpectedly. Well, not unexpectedly, because you're sort of shooting in the dark, so you really have no clue. Is it worthwhile continuing with this for a second? No, because I said 1, 2, and then the next one along would be 3, 4, 9. And then I could do 4, 5, 6, and it's just not right. This is not the way to solve this. I'm pretty sure I can rule out a 1, 2 from here. So I'm just half tempted to do that. 3, 4, 9 adds up to, yep, that immediately breaks, because I need 7, 9 in here, and that is not available. So, no 3. Well, no 3, 4. 3, 5, 6. That gets me to 9 and 5, 14. And it's not 5, 9, not 6, 8. Doesn't work. 3, 5, 7. That is 15. And 7, 8 is not available. This would have to be 6, 9 again. And this is not 2 or 5. That would be an 8. That is not an 8. That is not 2 or 8, that's a 5. That's not a 5 or 8, that's a 2. This is 1, 3, 1, 3. That gives me 5, 4, 6, 4, 6. Back to the 6, 9 is down here. And therefore this has to be a 4. Not 2 or 5, that's an 8. We're repeating the 7, 9 pair setup. This is not 8 or 5, that's a 2. That 7, 9 gives me a 6, gives me a 9. And then we're back to this region sum line. But what I want to do is, this is not 1, 2. Can I place any of these yet? No. Region sum line. So we are missing a 1 with 3, 5, 7, and 9 all placed. So my guess is the biggest digit is in here is an 8. And then I don't have the option of getting to an 8. 2, 6 is not, so 1, 7 not available, 2, 6 not available, 3, 5 not available. Yeah. So 3, 5, 7 doesn't work. I'm pretty sure 3, 5, 8 is not going to work either because it'll be too big. That would be 16. That would be 7, 9. That would have to be, well, I mean, it's not 5, 8, or 2, so this cell has nothing. And then last attempt, 3, 5, 9. Probably too big. 12 and 5, 17. That would have to be 8, 9. Right. So 3, 5 and 3, 4 doesn't work. 3, 6 with presumably a 7, which would make this 16, which would have to be 7, 9. It's broken. With an 8, that would be 14, 17. That would have to be 8, 9. It's broken. So that's now too big. 3 cannot be used. 4, 5, 6 is 15. This would have to be 7, 8 because 6, 9 is not available. 7, 8 in here means that can't have any digits. It's not 5, it's not 2, it's not 8. 4, 5, 6 doesn't work. 4, 5, 7. 9 and 7 means 17, and then that breaks immediately. So this is not 1, 2. I haven't even gotten this far before. Not 1, 2. I kind of think I can rule out 4, 8 as well. None of these are 8s. And therefore this would have to be the 8. Then I think if I make this 1, 2, this will be very difficult. That would be 5, that would be 8. Should make this 7, 9, 7, 9. Not 8. 2, 5 pair. I mean, so far that means that's the 2, that's the 5, that's the 2. This is 4, 6. This is 1, 3. So what are these 3 cells? So the minimum is reasonably high. It is 1, 3, 5. It's at least a 9. Yeah, it's just not as easy to eliminate options. Right. Let's do a bit of coloring then. Purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, grey, and black. And we've accepted that this is different. Let's just continue with coloring for a second. I think we've got to use the fact that things are different. Yellow, orange, yellow, orange. Why is that material? Can it be from the digits 258? It's almost a question I'm wondering. We know that it's different from these two, but does it have to be on one of these cells? Yellow is none of these cells. Okay, let's do a bit of coloring. So, blue, yellow, red. We know they're different. We know this is not yellow or red. We know that this is blue. And we know this is not blue or yellow. We know that this is red. And therefore we know that this is yellow. Okay, this is a step forward. This is definitely a step forward. At least this cell is none of the three. This one technically could be yellow. Technically. Interestingly, right, red is none of these cells. And red has to be on a, 8 has to be on a black Kropke dot. So does 2. One of them is 1, 2. One of them is 4, 8. One of them is 3, 6. Now, if this is 2 or 8, I've broken the puzzle. This is huge. You have to forgive the excitement. I mean, this is like I really haven't gotten this far before. This is 4, 6. Right. Can I get any of them? This cell can't be 2 or 8, but I could do 1, 4 and then 2, 8 up here. So it doesn't force this to be 3, 6. Come on, I really want to see the blue and yellow see the same black Kropke dot pair. That would make such a huge difference. Let's just try this for a second. If this is 2, that is not the 1-2 pair. But this can be. But we've already gone through a very lengthy process to show that this cannot be a 1-2 pair. But it doesn't stop me from hiding the 2 up here and the 1 there. So the fact that this is a 2, and this is not the 1-2, and this is not a 1-2, this can certainly still be a 1-2 as far as I could tell. And then because this is 8, this would be 4-8, and then this would be 3-6. I just want to go with this for a second. You can see how this puzzle keeps sucking you in regularly. Now this would be 4-6 white crop dot. Nothing stops us from being a 2, in fact. No, I need to, like, I think, stop with the randomness, Sleuth. The coloring really helped. Like, really helped. It's the closest I felt in literally months, so let's not lose it now. Now remember, the yellow is none of these cells. So where is yellow? Natural question to ask. None of these cells are yellow. I mean, or this, of course. Got to think about it this way, that both yellow and blue have to be on these black crop dots. So what are my options? And I don't actually have many. Let me show you what I mean by that. Yellow can't be here. Actually, let's do with blue. Blue can't be here and blue can't be there. So one option is blue is here or blue is there. So this is one possibility. Then yellow's not there, yellow's not here, that could be yellow. Then yellow could be down here. The question is this definitely one of them now? Or can I actually hide blue here, yellow here, and then this ends up being a 3-6 pair? Really interesting question with no obvious answer. I can place blue. Blue's not here. Reason I say that is take a look at box 5. Blue's not there, blue's not here. Blue we've already determined is on none of these lines because it's already been placed, so that's blue. Eliminating blue from here. Blue, because it's 2 or 8, has to be on one of these black crop dots, and it's not this cell, it's not this cell, it's here. So this is 2 or 8, and therefore this is 1 or 4. The fact that we have a 2-8 pair here gives me a 3-6, right? We're on this now. This is a yellow, and we've already proven that this is not 1-2 through a very lengthy process that I really don't want to repeat. The question is there an easier way that I'm now missing? And I'm sure the answer to that question is yes. Just don't know how to see it. Blue is in one of two cells here. Blue, not blue, not blue. Blue is one of these two. Blue can't be here. It's one of these two. So yellow has to be on here. That's the thing to remember now. Not yellow, not yellow. One of these is yellow. Am I going to just take it? I think I should. 4, 8, 8, 2, 2, 1, 2, 8, 7, 9, 2, 4, 8. That gives me a 1, 3 pair. 2 can't be on here. That's a 2 therefore. That's another blue. Remember this region sum line is missing an odd digit. Well, blue, the 2, is none of these cells, not this cell, not this cell. That's blue. Blue is one of these two now. And now we have a 2 X-Wing. That's incredible. These are now not including 2s. So they're made up of 4, 6, and 8. Let's think about this for a second. 4, 6, and 8 without a 2. Essentially, I'm wondering if this is 3, 4. No, I could do something like 6, 7, 8. I could be missing essentially a digit from the end or a digit from... don't know if this even made sense. You could essentially see that I have 4, 6, and 8 on these white Kropke dots. And then its partner is essentially one of 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 9. And then my question is, does this have to be consistent? For example, if I pick a 5, then that would force a 7, that would force a 9. And vice versa, if I pick a 7 here, that would force a 5, that would force a 3. I'm not even sure I have to pick a 5. I could do 3, 7, and 9 as an example. So, interesting, but not very useful. So this is not 1, 2, 3. Presumably it can be 4. It's not 5. It's not 6. It could be. It's not 7. 7 is too big. 7 and 2. Oh no, 7 could work. 7 could work. So I could do 4, 2 with a 6 or 7, 2 with a 9. These are my options. Now remember, we need all the even digits on here. Yes, Sleuth, this is it. No 8s means I need to have an 8 on this region sum line. And the region sum line, the 8 can't be here because of the 4, 8. That's not an 8, that's an 8. That gives me a 4, that gives me an 8. Now very quickly, let's focus on the 4. Because I need to have a 4, and the 4 is not here, and it's not there. That has to be a 4, that's a 6. And that's all even digits done. And now we're missing one odd digit, which I'm absolutely certain we can mathematically work out. For example, this cell can't be a 1, because I would need 3 digits that will add up to a 9. And I can't use a 1, and I can't use a 2. That doesn't work. Not 1, not 2. 3 with 11, so my options are 3, 5, 7, 9. Not a 5. 3, 7, or 9. And because we already placed 2, 4, 6, and 8, these digits have to be made up entirely of odd digits. And from 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, and I need 3 of them. 1, 3, 5, too small, that's 8. 1, 3, 7 is 11, but that won't work. That would require 8 and 3 in here. 1, 3, 9 is 13, so 1, 3, 9 with a 5 seemingly works. That wouldn't be the 9, and that would be a 5, which isn't available. So am I really having to do this? Come on. Maths, Sleuth, maths. So my options are 11 and 15 and 17, based on what this cell could be. And from 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 to get to 11, I think we said it has to be 1, 3, 7. So let me just think this through. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, they add up to 25. So if I am trying to get to 11, I need to miss 14, which can only be... So 11 would have to be 1, 3, 7, which breaks, because that would be a 3. From 25, I would have to remove 15. So this would have to be a 7, and that would mean I would remove the 3 and 7. So it'd have to be 1, 5, 9, with this being a 7. I appreciate this is probably one of my messiest solves to date. And I think that's the only way that's possible, because essentially the 7 means I have to essentially, from 25, I need to take away 10 to get to 15. And because to get to 15, that would require a 7 plus the 8. So essentially I need to remove 10. To get from 25 to 15, I need to remove 10. So it's either 1, 9 or 3, 7. And as soon as I place a 7 in here to get to 15, well, the 3, 7 is gone, and therefore it's 1, 5, 9. And that actually works. And then 17, from 25, I need to remove 8. And that would be, the 9 is placed in here, and that would be 1, 7, or 3, 5. So the only thing that I've managed to conclude is there is always a 1, and that the 3 doesn't work. This is 7 or 9. And the options are 1, 5, 9, or there's 2 options for 17, 9 with 3, 5, or 9 with 1, 7. So I don't even know that there's always a 1. No, hang on, there's always a 9 though. 9 is always on here, which makes this a 7. And therefore it is 15, and therefore it is 1, 5, 9. Sleuth, pay attention. Sorry, so if that was 9, 7, that was 17. And to get from 17, I need to take away 8, and the 9 would have to stay right. So that is forced. Now, this is not a 9, because of this 7, 9 pair. 7 is none of these cells, that's a 7. These two are now 3, 6, I'm going to say. Okay. And that's... I can't believe I'm going to say this. That's the variance. Oh, no, not the white Kropke dots, so we have to think about those next. I was about to say that's the variance done. Not a 5. Eight is one of 2 cells. That's a 3, that's a 6. 6 is one of 2 cells, can't tell yet. Right, I think we've got to think about these white Kropke dots, then we're home on the home stretch. How am I meant to see this? So right now I'm just thinking about parity, because really that's the only thing I can think of that's useful. I can have an even digit in here, like a 6, but not 2, 4, or 8. And this couldn't be a 7, so this would have to be a 5. So if there is an even digit in the cell, I can still make it. Now, if there is an even digit in this cell, well, it's not 2, it's not 6, but it could be 4 or 8. Now, if it's 4, that wouldn't be 5, that would be 3. Am I missing something with the 4 6s? Can I resolve any of these? I don't think I am. 4 6, if that's 4. And if it's an 8, well, both 7 and 9 are available. Not great. This is not 2, 8, or 6. This can be a 4, which would require this to be 3 or 5. It's not 3, it would have to be a 5. Now, if this is the even digit, it's not 2 or 6. It's, again, 4 or 8. And if it's 4, both 3 and 5 are available. And if it's 8, that's a 9. I don't think I'm making progress here. 2, 4, and 6 can see the cell. The only thing that could be is an 8 with a 7 or 9. No, I kind of need to step back and just think about this a bit better. I'll take the 6s. I mean, for the sake of completion, I'm just going to think about this. This is not a 2, but it can be a 4 with 3 or 5. It can be a 6 with 5 or 7, and it can be an 8 with 7 or 9. Yeah, lovely pencil marks. I'm no wiser. So, I mean, I know these are complete pencil marks, but I think we've got to think about this a little bit differently. So one thing that's not on any of these white Kropke dots is a 1 or 2. Could have any other digit, not these two. So 1, starting to get very restricted here. These cells are, looks like 1, 7, and 9, not a 1, which is helpful. If I have 7 and 9 in here, that can't be an 8. And I need to have an 8 on these white dots because there are no 2s. So one of these is an 8 for sure. Lovely. And it will be joined with a 7 or 9. We'll come back to that in a second. This is not 2. This is not 8. This is 4 or 6. And the 4, 6 is not here. That's a 4, 6. This now is 3, 5, or 7. And it's not 7. This is 3 or 5. Feeling better about this? Okay. So one of these is 8, therefore one of these is 7 or 9. It's not enough. 47 minutes. I mean, at least it doesn't feel like it's a million miles away. Not 1, not 1, not 1. Whereas 1 in column 5, it can only be in here. That's 1, that's 9, that's 5. If that's 8, that's 7. If that's 8, that's 9. Way to be consistent, huh? These 3 cells now surely are at least known. I can at least write them down. There is a 4 in here. So 4, 5, 8. That's not at all what I meant. 4, 5, 8. Now, if it's a 5, this would have to be a 6 because it can't be a 4. If it's an 8, this would have to be a 7. And if it's a 4, well, this would have to be a 3 because it's not a 5. And this 4 in here can't be a 5, would have to be a 3 again. The 5 could be 6, 4 or 6, not 4 though, would have to be 6. And the 8 would have to be 9, not 7. Okay, getting very restricted and crowded in here. So essentially what I have is 2 of 3, 6, 7, 9, then a second one, then a third one, and then a 1. Seven is one of these two cells. Just Sudoku. 1, 2, 3. So what are my options here? 4 is in here. 6 seemingly could be anywhere. So can 1. And so can 3. So this is 1, 3, 6. And then one of them is on this side. How is this helping me? Do I have any more Sudoku to be done? Maybe. The 6s are lining up, which means this is a 6, this is a 3. These 3 cells are now known, surely. They are 1, 9, 3. 1, 3, 9. Can't place any of them. Huh. Eight. One of 2 cells. Not very helpful. 8 in box 3, or I say column 7. None of these are 8. Amazingly. Therefore 8 is one of 2 cells. Maybe I'm just going to focus on evens for a second, given how many of them we've actually managed to place. And then 8 is one of 2 cells in here. One of 2 cells in there. 4. Too many options. Too many options. Right, secret keeps pointing me back towards the white crop dots. So 9 has to be in here. And if it's not this cell, that couldn't be an 8, that would be 8, 7. Essentially 4 with 1, 3 or 6. Then a 9 with 1 or 3 or 6. This cell can't be 1, but it can be 3, 6, 9. No, this isn't going anywhere. Odd, 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 odd. And then one of these is odd. One of these two is a 1. Three. Yeah, not enough. 7 and 8 are both in here. That's a 2. This is 3, 9. That's a 1. That's not a 1. 1 is down here now, specifically one of these 2 cells, because of this 1, 3 pair. 7, 8 is done. 4, 6. Then the second one will be here, and then the same as the reverse. Okay. That is not a 2, that is a 2. So now what is left in here is 3, 4, 6. Not a 4, not a 6. And one of them has to be a 3, that is a 9. So 1, 3 pair, that's a 9. So 3 with a 4, 6, then we have essentially here 1 with a 4, 6 and a 5. No real restrictions, if I'm honest, other than the 6. 1, 3 pair, pay attention, 6, not 6, 3. This is a 1, 4 pair now, that's a 5. 7 and 9, looks like it. Yeah. Second 7 and 9 with 4 and 5. Could be anywhere. Let's just stick on Sudoku. It's paying off. So where else do we go from here? Another 1, 4 and an 8 and a 7 and a 5. Can't eliminate any of these in any of the cells. The 1 is not here. Doesn't even have to be there though, because that could be the 1. It keeps all coming back to these white Kropke dots. That was never an 8. Not that it matters. Wasn't using that incorrectly. So if that's 4, that would be 5, 8 with a 6 and a 7, 9, and then that would be a 4 with a 3 or 5. I think I've got to just pressure this enough to give up. Just enough. So what have I not placed in this box? I've got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. I've got 2, 4, 6. The only thing that's missing is an 8. Nine. Don't know how long that was there for. 7. Not 7. That's a 1, 9 pair. That's 8. That's 7. 8 now, one of 2 cells. So essentially there is another 4, 6 and... Is it a 3? Yes. Let me just write this down for a second. Almost a triplet, not quite. Then whatever one of these I'm not using. So that's odd, that's even. Can it be double even with 8, 3, 5 in here? Yes. Not a 6. 6 is one of these two. And therefore 6 is one of these two. If that's 3, that's 4, that's 6, that's 3. That's 4, that's 6, that's 5, that's 3. In general, this resolves very easily. It just needs something to just tip the scale from outside it. Keep looking. 7, 9 pair. I'm sure that will be useful. can I use it? Maybe a bunch of pencil marks in here. So I could have ones, not 2, 3, 4. 5 works, not 6, not 7, not 8, and obviously not the 9. So this is very restricted again. 1, 4, 5, and 9. And this is not 1 or 4, but it can be a 9. And this is not 1, but it could be 4, 5, 9. One thing that I tend to do when things get hard, like what is happening right now, is turn on pencil marking. After a long solve, it's not unusual for me to miss things, as I just did. Don't think that can be a 5 anymore, can it? Because yeah, none of these are adjacent. That can't be 4, 3. It will break this cell. That's the 8. That's the 9. Probably won't need it anymore. That's not the 8. That's the 8. Not an 8 again. 4, 5 pair. That can't be a 7 anymore. And if it's a 4, it's a 3. If it's a 5, it's a 6. That's the 7. That's the 1. That's another 3, 6. Definite 1 in here. 1 gave me a 3, gave me a 1. 3 gives me a 6, gives me a 5. And therefore this is 4. Doesn't necessarily make... Oh, hang on. No, it does. That has to be unique. So if this is 5, that's 3. 3, 6, 5, 8. 4, 4, 3. This is 4, 6 now. Yep, 6, 4. Not 6, 6, 4. Need 1 in this row. Can only be in here. That's 5. This is 1, 3, or 9. It's not 1 or 3. That's a 9. That's 1. That's 3. Pay attention. 3, 1, 9. 1, 3, 7, 9. 7, 9, 7, 1, 3, not 1. This cell is known, it's a 9. Not 9 or 5, that's 4. That's 1, that's 5, that's 9. That's 8, that's 5, that's 8, that's 1, that's 4. That's 7. And if I've not made any more mistakes, that's 5 for the finish. Wow. I really came into this puzzle thinking I'm going to need new techniques to be able to solve this. And frankly, with that 1-2 bifurcation that I was doing here to eliminate it, there probably is something else that I'm missing. But I think these colors immensely helped. And then thinking about the interactions with the black crop dot. Yeah, so I'm going to call it not a fail video, even though I did come into this puzzle thinking this will be the first one. And I was very deliberately going for solving it this weekend. Essentially, I was sort of drawing the line and thinking, if I am going to have a fail, let's do it 1 per year, shall we? And I think we can say this is definitely solved. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle, maybe the video. See you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.